Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 back again, joined by my Uncle Darrell, who typically joins me on my sports channel in talking sports. But obviously, you click on the video because we're reviewing the most newest movie to the movie fold and all this crazy hecticness of that is the world, and that is the newest Batman film titled, well, The Batman. And obviously, the Batman is my uncle's favorite superhero. What's gonna happen again with my other movie reviews that I always do? The first couple of minutes we'll talk about non-spoiler stuff, and then we'll go into spoilers. Obviously, I'll give a spoiler warning alert about things that you don't want to hear if you haven't seen the movie and stuff like that. I saw the movie yesterday. My uncle saw it earlier because he resides in Germany. But in terms of the movie, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I definitely did like the dark theme of the film a lot. Like, just some of the crazy imagery in this film was just crazy. Like the way the film starts off, pure insanity. Like, you get right into it, and then after that, it's just free flowing. The movie's 3 hours long. In some cases, it did feel a little long to me, but at the same time, it didn't feel as long for me, because just the nonstop action.
Well, for me, it was the same thing. They didn't do any, and I know this might be a spoiler, I guess, and I know we were talking about doing it later on, but the main thing for me is they didn't do any backstory on Batman and why he's Batman and how he became Batman and all the different little things that he went through as a youth, as they did in Batman Begins. They didn't go through all of that. They just went straight into, this is my city, and this is what I do. And it went straight into the story. Yeah. Just absolutely straight into the story, and I loved it.
Yeah. And this is a much younger Batman. It isn't like, the later stages, the Dark Knight movie, and even the later stages of the late 1990s films of Batman. This is a much younger Batman. This is Batman in year two. So
year two. That's correct.
I'm not accustomed to most of the comics because I don't read the Batman comics or anything, but this is like a Batman that's just starting out. So you see it like perspective of how Gotham City views him is different than how they view him in the other films, because he's more new and everything. And they rarely even call him the Batman other than the Riddler and some of the things they show him. People just call him Catwoman calls him Vengeance and stuff like that, but he's known as Vengeance at the point in time. But other things I did like, all the actors that portrayed their roles. I mean, I thought Robert Pattinson did a pretty good job as Batman, which is definitely a shock to see, because I know when he was first cast, not a lot of people were too high on it. But I thought he made his own unique Batman interpretation compared to Ben Affleck, to Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, and the other ones, Adam West and stuff like that. I liked Catwoman. I thought she was good in the film. Penguin killed the show for me. I enjoyed Penguin, especially when you get to the chase scene. I won't go into detail. I'll talk more about the chase scene and the spoilers, but that was I think the actor is Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, that's correct.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Suit on him.
He did a great job.
He did a great
the actor that played Jim Gordon, I really did like him. I liked him as Jim Gordon. I thought he was a type
Jeffrey Wright.
Yep. I thought he was, he was the nice sidekick to Batman, helping him alongside the thing, always having his back, and at the same time seeing what was going on in the city was wrong and everything. Don't know the actor. I know I should have had the cast members pulled up on my phone, but the dude who I think next to Penguin who stole the show for me was the actor that played the Riddler. Like
Paul Dano.
That guy literally went crazy.
He killed it. He absolutely killed it. Colin Farrell killed it. Robert Pattinson, for me, and I don't want to talk about spoilers, but for me, he killed it as Batman. Bruce Wayne, on the other hand, we can probably talk about that. That for me, he really didn't do it for me as Bruce Wayne. but I understand why, because keep in mind, this is Batman year 2. So he's basically in Batman mode the entire movie. Even when he's Bruce Wayne, he's still in Batman mode. He's learning how to, not only handle himself as the Dark Knight or Batman, however you want to place it. He's also trying to handle his true alter ego, which is Bruce Wayne. He really never turned off Batman in this entire movie. And I think in that sense, Robert Pattinson killed it. So every actor pretty killed it. I mean, Zoe Kravitz, oh my God.
That's the one thing everybody keeps saying.
Man, if we're talking about greatest Catwoman of all time, I mean, we might have to go back and watch some movies, but Zoe Kravitz again killed it. I mean, she killed it. I love the dichotomy between Batman and Catwoman. I love the partnership between Gordon and Batman. I mean, it went throughout the entire movie. I loved it. There was just, I can't really say that there was one particular thing that I just didn't like. There were some things, obviously, I just was like, okay, there were different little twists.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, all right, yeah, that's something new. I've never really had thought about that. But, so overall, the cast from the rooter to the tutor, they killed it. I mean, every last actor, I think, did a fantastic job in putting this together. Matt Reeves put together a masterpiece. I got to admit, that's the only thing I can actually say about it. He put together a masterpiece. I really, if this movie don't get an Oscar nomination for something, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Matt Reeves took his own interpretation of Batman and he made it pretty damn good. In my honest, and forgot to mention too, for Andy Serkis playing as Alfred, I liked him too. I thought he was good, although he wasn't in the film as much. He still did a pretty dang good job with the role he was given. So I definitely did enjoy that. The movie choices I enjoyed the music choices I enjoyed, especially the main theme for Batman. It was just always playing in the background, catchy as all get up and stuff like that. The fight scenes. A lot of people always talked about, especially the reviews I've seen, always said one of the best, if not the best Batman fight scene was in Batman v Superman when Batman first appears, which takes you back and makes you feel if you played like the Arkham games or something like that. The fight scenes in this movie were insane when it came to the hand-to-hand combat. Like one of the parts of the movie, or the first part of the movie, you would literally have Batman taking on 7, 8, 9 guys at one time and taking them out with like just physically brutality, to be honest. Like just wasn't showing mercy to anybody. And I'm like, oh my goodness. This is crazy. Yeah. And I enjoyed it.
I did. I mean, I gotta admit, the very first fight scene of the movie was just, I mean, it just pretty much just took your breath away. It did. I liken it to the warehouse scene in Batman versus Superman, in which, Batman went to go save Martha Kent. Now I gotta admit, that fight scene was awesome. But the fight scene towards the end of the movie, in which Batman is fighting, I know I don't want to get into spoil, he's fighting, and that fight scene was absolutely similar to that one. It was just wall-to-wall action, and the creativity and how they use Batman, his bat suit, and the gadgets that he used while fighting. Those were on display towards the end of that movie as well too. But most times, man, he was brutal. And for anyone who reads the books, they understand what I'm saying. But for those who are just novices, that just coming up in here and watching the movie, and they hear certain things about Batman. But I mean, when the guy fights, he's brutal. It's just that simple. He's brutal. He has to be. Because he's a guy on an island. So, but yeah, fight scenes were great. Acting was great. The cast was great. The cinematography was really good. The soundtrack, I mean, every Batman has their own specific music that that's assigned to them. This one was no different, and it actually fit this particular Batman. Great job all the way around.
Yeah. I think honestly, there's really nothing else to say in terms of the non-spoiler stuff. But that's it.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best,
Yeah.
nephew, not to say anything, but we might as well just go ahead and get
Yeah,
to it.
yeah, but anyways, we're going to end our non-spoiler discussion section for the review. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go check it out. I think you'll have a good time liking it
Yes.
and stuff like that. So when you do, please come back for the spoiler section and we'll discuss and you get our thoughts on the spoilers and stuff like that. But so till then, guys, for the non-spoiler people, we'll see you guys in the next video. As for the spoiler people, wait a quick second as I make this cut to get into the spoiler section. So till then, guys, see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, we're back with the spoilers discussion section of the Batman. We're going to get into spoilers and stuff like that. Now, hopefully my uncle remembers most of the film because there's only some select parts of the film that I truly remember that were just big in the whole thing. I don't know if we're going to go around with a bunch of other stuff or just go straight through the movie and stuff like that. But the thing is, like we said in the non-spoiler section, the movie starts off with a straight up like bang. It just gets right into it and you just have this whole thing that there's this like mayoral campaign going on in Gotham City, and one of the persons who's running for mayor, he's just in his own like I guess lounge area, just looking at the TV screen, and you just have it in the background and just in the pitch black. Well, at first you have it where you see somebody looking through binoculars or some sort of lens and seeing what's going on in this house. Then you get to all that stuff. And the dude's walking around in the back and walking around. It's like I said, just TV's on, and this was great, just the way it looked. You have it to where you see like the reflection of the TV coming from these glasses or everything. Now, at first, I'm like, is this like Batman or something like that? But no, it's not Batman. It was the freaking Riddler just chilling there. And my goodness, this man, when the mayor gets off, the one dude who's running for mayor gets off the phone, he just tears a whole
lays him completely out.
Like, I know we said in the non-spoiler section the fact that Riddler, the guy who played him, did a great job, and we didn't go into depth of the character, how he's portrayed in the film, but this Riddler was the best incarnation of any form of Riddler we've seen, whether it's the video games for Batman or the other movies. Well, I guess the only other Riddler for the movie was Jim Carrey. And for the games, obviously, was the Arkham series. But the Riddler here, when I tell you, this was a Riddler that was no nonsense. He was actually, he came across like a crazy dude, and he was straight up ruthless, where he would do whatever he wanted to get a hold of whatever, which is his target objective, because we later found out he kind of sees himself like Batman in a weird dichotomy way. And this dude was just murking people left and right. What it didn't matter was the mayor at the start. It didn't matter it was the one guy who had the DA who had the bomb stretched to his neck. Shooting Falcone later in the film, and this guy was crazy. And the fact that this guy had like his own social media presence where he actually had people that actually followed this guy's like words, insanity. And then Jesus, we'll probably talk about it later, but the freaking interrogation scene with him and Batman, one of the best scenes in the movie, where it's like you're thinking, wait, is this gonna be like almost a Spider-Man No Way Home where he deducts the fact that he knows he's Batman, Bruce Wayne's Batman, and then he's like, you're so stupid, my guy. But then you realize he doesn't know that he
doesn't know. And I gotta admit, when it was that one keyword, it was that one keyword that the Riddler used, and Batman was actually thinking, hey, this cat knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he used that one keyword at that particular moment, you actually saw a moment of relief,
Yeah.
you know, in Batman's face, to the point where it's, oh, all right, you know, now I
Yeah.
can get the business. This cat don't know who I am,
Yeah.
you know. So but for me, I mean, you know, Paul Dano played great as the Riddler, but it was right after that in the books. If when you read, you know, Batman, they do these narrations where Batman is talking, and you will see certain little clips in the books. Whereas, you know, you'll see he's actually he's talking, but at the same time it's just like a narration. It was the same thing with this movie, is where you hear Pattinson's voice in the background. He's just basically talking about Gotham City and his city and criminals, and how criminals fear him, and how he has to use the night and the dark, you know, as fuel to put fear in the hearts of criminals. And then all of a sudden, you know, granted, guys on the train, this gang of, you know, what looks like Joker mites, or whatever you want to call them, you know, they start following the guy, they start harassing the guy, they're about to beat the guy up, and then all of a sudden you hear these footsteps. And it was just like, in the movie theater that I was in, it just felt like a chill just came right over the movie theater when you just hear his footsteps coming through the darkness. And even before that, you know, you'll have a bad guy, a bad guy just robbed a store, and he goes out and he looks into the dark, and he's wondering if he's actually there, because the signal went up, and it's just like you sense the fear of what's about to happen in that particular scene. And then he shows up and he beats the crap out of Joker mites. And, you know, granted, a lot of people saw that part in the trailer, but everything that came before that was just chilling. It was just absolutely just chilling. I was on the edge of my seat right there in the beginning of the movie, just when I heard those footsteps. And that was it for me. I knew I was locked in at that moment.
Yeah. I definitely did like that whole factor of the smaller criminals feeling the fear of Batman.
That's
and
right.
just him just being in the dark, and then just him seeing that, like, oh crap, is he there or is he not there, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it goes into what is actually in the books. You know, it's one of his sayings. You're like, you know, criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. So he uses that darkness as fuel to, you know, put fear in their hearts and minds. And that very first movie, just by them looking into the darkness, they're just like, oh, is he gonna come out? Oh, and you know, even the guy that robbed the store, he just ran off and hauled ass and got out of there.
Yeah.
You know, so I said from that moment on, I was gripped.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah. And again, we didn't discuss this mostly in the non-spoiler section, but like I said, when this movie jumps you into this, and this movie is making you feel like, the movie's literally titled The Batman, you rarely see like Bruce Wayne in this film. It's just strictly, and when I was watching this, and even like halfway into the film, I'm like, wow, I'm actually shocked that it's like, we got on a lot of Batman. We barely get Bruce Wayne. Like, the only Bruce Wayne you get is when he comes back from doing his mission, and then the one church scene to honor the funeral for the guy that died at the first part of the film. But other than that, it's like he and then the whole revelation about, you know, his father and stuff like that, and his mom, which we'll get into a little bit, which is a little bit of a change of the backstory of Batman. They definitely do some changes of the Batman backstory, which it can be debatable how you feel about that. Am I fine with Thomas Wayne somewhat being maybe a guy that dealt with crooks and stuff like that? I can understand, especially in Gotham City with the different crime lords and stuff like that, that maybe, okay, he needed to dive into this. And then his Martha Wayne being, I guess you can say, insane,
crazy, institutionalized in Arkham Asylum. I thought that was a nice little twist as well too. What I did like, what I like most about it is that they focus a lot The movie is called The Batman for the reason, because it actually focused on the main character, which is something that the other movies really didn't do. They really focused more on the villains, what made the villains, what made the villains become who they are, things of that nature. Not this movie. This movie focused on the Batman being exactly what he is, a detective, a flat out detective. I didn't care for Robert Pattinson as Batman, as Bruce Wayne, I should say. I didn't say this in the non-spoiler section. I tried to be as, as general as possible because that was the theme of the video. But since we're on this section, to me, Robert Pattinson did not pull it off as Bruce Wayne. Now, I understand why. He's 2 years in to being Bruce Wayne. So if you really think about it, his alter ego is Bruce Wayne. So I think Reeves wanted to show that he couldn't cut off being Batman. He couldn't cut it off. Even when he's driving about in regular clothes, he's got this motorcycle helmet on. He pulls his motorcycle on. He's still got the black paint on his face because, again, dude just can't turn off Batman. So, but when he's Bruce Wayne, you kind of get that Edward from Twilight sense, and I didn't really care for that at all. I was just like, dude, you put some sun on him and he gonna start glistening. He was just pale and the hair was all over the place. I just really couldn't get it. But again, I do understand why. It's his second year as Batman. He can't really turn it off. He has to work on being Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I get it. But man, they focus mostly on Batman only. Batman was the star of the show. Batman was the one that they wanted to actually, focus on as far as who the hero is in this movie.
Yeah. For me personally, I didn't mind his portrayal as just Bruce Wayne, mostly because I just take the understandings. I think, especially with how young he is right now, he's really truly trying to find himself and where he lies. Because we even see a quote early on in the film, after he gets back from the first mission. Alfred's like, "Hey, you have these people, that are going to talk to you about something involving, I think, Wayne Enterprises or something like that.
Correct.
Like business ventures." And he's like, "Alfred, I have no time for that and stuff like that. You handle it."
Correct. That's what I said. He couldn't turn off being Batman.
Yeah.
He for the most part, he was Batman throughout the entire movie. So, and again, he's only been Batman a couple years. So it's like, right at that time, it's more or less, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be Batman. I've already made the decision to be Batman. I'm gonna be Batman. Yeah. So right now, Bruce Wayne, this movie, Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne, does not interfere with him being Batman. So for the most part,
the one new tech thing I liked was the recording like eye contacts. I thought that was pretty cool. The fact that
was really cool.
A way to just involve current modern day technology. Well, even though that kind of seems more like advanced technology, but I'm still having like, camera contact lenses, to record that thing, record what you see, and just do that and see, okay, break things down and stuff like that. But after that whole scene happens with the whole stopping the mugs, they go to the crime scene of where the mayor was killed, and you have it to where it's like a really graphic scene, where the Riddler like taped the dude's mayor's face off. He gave him like lacerations in his head, and then his whole hand is all messed up and everything. And again, like going on with the whole thing, the other than Gordon, all the other police force, they look at Batman and they're like, "Who the hell is this guy?
Why are you here?" They already know about him. They already know about Gordon's relationship with him. They just don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it. And again, because in year one, if anyone's actually seen it, there's an animated movie came out a few years ago called Batman Year One, in which Gordon and Batman pretty much had to, not necessarily duke it out, but they were pretty much on the other side of each one's fence, but year two obviously is after they've mended those so-called fences and they realize that their fight is the same. He knows that Batman's not a killer, but at the same time, though, he does things a little bit differently than what Gordon can do. So, Gordon has the he's got the bat signal and he uses it. He used it quite a bit in this movie too.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah.
But I was gonna say, when Batman, people were wondering, and I know I was, people were wondering, well, Batman's at this crime scene, he's got all these cops around, and he's just looking around. He's not really saying nothing, he's not really doing anything. He's just looking around, and the other cops are like, what is he here? What is he here for? All to find out he's recording the entire thing with his contact lenses.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I mean, it was just really cool. Each Batman has their own real special tech that they use. Ben Affleck had the throat thing to change his voice. I thought that was pretty cool. Christopher Bale's Batman, he had all kinds of gadgets. I mean, he had a gadget just about for everything, but this Batman, I mean, even he's actually fine-tuning his tech because again, it's year 2, so
yeah.
That scene was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And the thing about the Riddler in this whole thing, because it's kind of like a goose chase, really. Riddler's just setting these, scenes where he then obviously leaves a message to Batman through the form of the card, which is through a riddle and everything, and he's been out these riddles and stuff like that. So that's kind of the whole thing there. So getting to truly the Catwoman type of situation, because eventually Batman ends up going to the Iceberg Lounge. The only reason I remember the Iceberg Lounge is just playing the Arkham games. And obviously the Iceberg Lounge is kind of the whole thing with Penguin. I thought it was a funny line where he has the one guard open the door and he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm here for Penguin. And he's like, what? Then he closes the door, gets his boy to come in. And he's like, he's here for Penguin. And he's like, you better back off, otherwise we're gonna put blood on your suit. And he's like, you mean me or you? And he just started taking those guys out.
And he took him out quick too, Jack. I mean, to me, the stupid part is that when you see a cat that's dressed like that in a situation like that, you got to be able to know you got to know he's crazy.
Yeah,
you got to know he's crazy. I mean, let's be, for all intents and purposes, Batman is insane, but I mean, it's always that, and these were they weren't really like big, gigantic, strapping, muscle-bound guys. They were just average-looking guys, and they're talking crap like, you know what, man, you need to go ahead and get on out of here.
Yeah.
So, and then that was the first time we saw the Penguin, and it was also the first time we saw Selena Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a Zoe Kravitz fan. I'm a bigger one now. She might be the best. She might be the best Catwoman ever.
Yeah. He's Batman's in there looking. He takes an intrigue in Catwoman, seeing what's going on there. To the point, we then cut over to Catwoman seeing what Selena's doing, and she's trying to break into the safe. You get a nice fight scene between Batman and Catwoman there and everything. And you essentially,
but you can tell he was pulling his punches.
Yeah.
Unlike the fights we've seen before with Catwoman, where she pretty much holds her own. I mean, you can actually tell that these fight scenes, he was pulling his punches.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool too.
We also kind of get a different, unique twist of the Catwoman backstory too here, because we later find out, she has ties to Falcone, which I thought was so funny because Bruce thought, because he's into her and he likes Selena, and he's like, oh, because at one point she makes him go back, or he makes her go back into the Iceberg Lounge, has the eye contacts in there recording just to find out some more information and everything.
Right.
And not only they run into the DA, but she also runs into Falcone, and Falcone was like kind of, I guess you can say, feeling up on her, and Bruce was feeling some sort of way like, wait, relationship? Is there something going on that you're not telling me? Correct. And we're thinking, oh, she had some sort of romantic relationship with Falcone at some time, but we later
keep in mind, she was also looking for her missing friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was looking for her missing friend.
So she was more focused on that. And I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was the DA she heard say something about the missing friend. Keep in mind, I saw this over a week ago, so you know a
Mhm.
lot of the details are just a bit sketchy. But she turned over she knew Falcone was her dad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that she knew Falcone was her dad, which is the reason why it got turned to that right there, because she
Mhm.
just really wanted to talk to him,
Yeah.
you know. But at the same time, though, she was trying to find her missing friend.
Yeah.
So it became a little, you know, doors start opening up as far as, you know, the information that the movie's trying to send to the viewer. And it was just one extra thing that we had to even ask questions about. And I thought that was a pretty cool twist. You
Mhm.
know, yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool twist.
Yeah. I know there are some people that didn't really like the weird twist, but yeah, you later find out Falcone, the relationship he has with Selena is the fact that, oh, he's her father in a way,
Right,
and stuff
right.
like that. But we'll get to that in a bit. Trying to remember something. I'm trying to remember. I'm just kind of just going around because, like I said, I don't really have. Even though I saw this movie yesterday, it's like it went in and then went out. I feel like I'll just see it again, but I don't know if I'm gonna see it again. But the thing is, you get the one scene where Bruce actually shows up to the funeral scene,
Yeah,
and you just have it to where it's like he's just kind of there, but at the same time he's observing. Remember, this is the point. This is like after the fact. You had the whole interaction with Catwoman and
right,
everything, and about the
right.
relationship. And I found it so interesting because he's looking at Falcone come out of his car with the penguin, and he's go holding out his hand to this one lady. He thinks it's Selena, and he's rolling up like he about to freaking do something.
That was a great scene in the Long Halloween book. That was a really great scene. That's where they captured it from. Um, Now, about that funeral scene, the one thing that I found interesting is Bruce found himself really engaged with the little boy of
Oh
the
yeah,
yeah, the little boy.
even in the first scene when you saw him as Batman too.
Correct, correct. He was really, because he connected with the
Yep.
kids. Um, so you know, I'm not necessarily sure how that's going to portray itself in future books. I mean,
Mhm.
future movies with this series. But I thought that was a nice little dichotomy that Reeves threw in with Bruce Wayne and this little boy, because this
Mhm.
little boy, and I think that at the time he was about to approach the little boy and basically try to connect with him, you know, probably tell him something like, "Hey, it's gonna be all right," or whatever. But the DA showed up in that car.
Yeah,
This,
and I forgot to mention after, because the DA, he's kind of intoxicated. He was trying to hit on Selena, but
correct,
after Selena was just kind of like, "I'm done with this. I need to look for my friend and everything and stuff
right.
like that." And then after she leaves, dude, this is how crazy the Riddler was. This
Yeah,
man seriously was just chilling in the DA's car the entire time till he gets back. And the moment the DA gets back in his car, he's just right there sitting in his car, and you barely see it because they blur it out. They just truly focus on the DA's vision, and you see him in the background just showing up, and then he starts attacking him and everything.
but you see his glasses though.
Yeah, yeah.
You see his glasses. That I think that was the main thing. You just saw those glasses, and the next thing you know, he's just beating the crap out.
Yeah. And then, as the things going on, they start to blur it out to me, be like, wait, what is he doing to him?
Right.
And then you just see this blue red light blinking on it. And I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And
Yep.
stuff like that. And I forgot to mention too, another crazy thing the Riddler did is I forgot what type of government official he captured, but he captured somebody, and he had these rats and essentially in the middle. And this dude was like essentially in the middle of a rat. His head was in the middle of a rat, cage and
Correct.
everything. And he was he was like, I'm gonna set these rats free, and it's gonna eat this guy's face up and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that was another clue for Batman to look into and read and stuff like that. And I'm like, this guy crazy. He having rats eat people's
Yeah.
face off and everything. This guy
But he
literally
was
had.
crazy smart though. He had his own
Yep.
language that they had to decipher for all these different riddles. And I know we'll probably wind up talking about that a little bit later on as well too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this particular Riddler was Paul Dano, who's the actor who played the Riddler. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, um, you know, there was nothing else you can actually say about this one. So
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool. Now Bruce Wayne did wind up saving the boy who
Mm-hmm.
would have eventually got hit by the vehicle that the DA was in.
Yeah.
So, and it was another one of them things too, where it's okay, now I gotta go. I gotta put on my suit and come on
Mm-hmm.
back.
Yeah. And the thing is, walking into the funeral scene, he's just kind of observing, Bruce kind of observing everything. And then he sees this one weird guy and he's just talking. He's like, do I know you somewhere?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't. But then, the other person who's running for the mayor, it's like, oh, Bruce Wayne and everything. And then, as he's looking back, the guy's like, and he's walking back into the crowd and everything. You're like, wait, is that the Riddler right there? And then he even looks up and then he sees like something's not right, something's not going on and everything. Then obviously the car comes in, the DA comes out, dude got a bomb strapped to his neck, and I'm like, this guy is wild. What this man is crazy. At first I thought he killed the guy in this car. No. Or what I thought was gonna happen, he had the guy like the DA's dead body just have like stepped on the gas pedal just to have it like that. But no, he kept the DA alive, and essentially he was forcing the DA to do all this stuff. Otherwise, he's just gonna blow his head off and everything. And he comes out of the car, you see the bomb, and you're like, this okay. And essentially the whole thing is when Batman shows up, because everybody puts everybody on edge. Batman shows up. Essentially the whole thing is, he has to call the Riddler, and the Riddler is like, answer these questions, DA, in the allotted time. Otherwise, you're going to get your head blown off.
Yeah.
And essentially leads to a freaking scene. And I found it funny because the DA didn't know what these riddles were.
He didn't know. But what got me was that the Riddler he could hear the DA, but he couldn't hear Batman giving him the answers.
Yeah.
I thought that part, I was just like, well, wait a minute here. I mean, Batman over here cheating. So just that part, kind of threw me for a loop. I was actually shocked that the DA was actually alive, man, the way he was slugging on him when the Riddler was in the back of that car. So I was actually quite shocked to see that the DA was actually alive with that bomb strapped around his neck. Yeah. So and again, that was just another one of them small little twists that Matt Reeves threw up in there to monkey wrench you. So it was great.
Yeah, I found it funny in that scene because the Riddler says his riddle. He says the first one, and the DA is like, "Wait, can you say that again, please?" And I'm like, "Dude, come on!" And then Batman, he just says, "This is the answer. Here you go." He just blurts out the answer, and then he just answers it. And then it leads up to the scene where clearly the Riddler wants him to explain things that essentially will show the corruption within Gotham, what's truly going on and everything. But the DA is not like, I can't say that. I can't say that. Batman starts like, you better answer the question. Say it. What's going on? And he's like, I can't say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, say it.
And then
you got it. You're right.
Yeah, and then obviously Riddler's like, well, too late. Blow up now. Listen, this is just me. I understand we're in the comic age of Batman and stuff like that, and not everything can be real. But my God, the dude took a freaking bomb explosion right then and there to the face. Yes, he clonks out, he knocks out a bit. But I find it extremely, and I mean extremely hard to believe that Batman's face, his jawline ain't all scarred up. He ain't actually like dang near had to be taken to a hospital because he got blown up right then and there. That's just me. Now, you can obviously say, well, the suit is better protected and stuff like that.
Well, he did cover up his face.
Oh, yeah,
he covered up his face. I mean, so he knew the blast was coming and he prepared for it. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. I really do. I mean, but what I did like is that the blast actually showed that the dude is actually human.
Yeah.
I did like that. First time, that wasn't the first time in the movie in which, he got knocked out. And, what got me after it was, no one really wanted to take the guy's mask off.
Yeah. Well, they were about to.
I mean, it's should we take his mask off? Wonder what he looks like under there, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like that. It was just this discussion of, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. What do you think he's who do you think he is? Could he be, anyway? So,
Yeah.
um,
So that scene leads into, I guess you can say, Batman being interrogated by the police because he gets taken in because they think he's an accomplice in all of this whole
correct,
thing going on. Um,
correct.
and the one guy, I think he's the commissioner because this is at the time Jim Gordon's not the commissioner, and he's like, "Okay, what role do you play in this and everything? You're gonna explain everything. Tell us who you are, yada yada yada." And Gordon's like, "Listen, we leave him alone." The
Yeah,
police start ransacking Batman. Batman's throwing punches and everything. He's like, "Get the heck off me" and everything. Gordon, again, great acting. He's like, "You need to stop this right now." He's like, "Stop this. I'll talk to this guy. We'll
yeah. He
figure it
starts
out."
protecting him. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
you get the scene where obviously Gordon has Batman's back full and it's like, "Listen, take the
correct.
key, go out the back, and you can get out of here
Mhm.
for free." And
Yeah,
stuff like
grapple
that.
to the backyard. You'll see my 49 jalopy out in the back. Get inside of it, drive down the corner, make a left at Willie B's, and I'll meet you there. That kind of stuff.
Uh
So, but the
yeah.
only that part I did not like, and I understand that it was 2 years into being Batman. I get it, but that flying suit he pulled out was lame.
Yeah.
It was
Again, this is probably before he ends up coming up with the decision to be like, "I can just glide with my cape."
I got you, but it just, I mean, it was looked like it was a balloon with wings,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really, you know,
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling that tech, but I again, 2 years in, I get it. You have to break a few eggs before you can make an omelet. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
what, in the end, Mrs. Winfrey actually mentioned that, hey, it's early. You got to break some eggs before you make an omelet. And I was just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I
Like
get it.
he even on that, he even hurt himself there. I
He
was
did.
like,
He had a
"What?"
nice little fall there, but again, that's what I loved about the movie, with all of the things that was going on. This movie actually showed that Batman is human.
Mhm.
He ain't,
Yeah.
he takes falls, he takes spills, he gets cuts. They had a scene early in the movie in which, Pattinson, and people saw it in the trailer, Pattinson took his, shirt off, and you see all these scars on his back, so um so yeah, they really went the extra mile just to show you that this guy is human, and he's doing all this extracurricular stuff physically with his body, and they really went out of their way to make sure that people saw that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, the thing, so going on from that scene, he meets up with Gordon later on. And they're
Yep,
kind of just finding out what's going on at this whole thing that they're that we see the Penguin's operation is smuggling money. Catwoman
yep,
ends up showing up. He sees this. He's like, "Oh crap, what is she here for now?"
yep,
Um, and essentially, Catwoman's looking through all the bags. You see these bags of money and everything, and lo and behold, oh, dead body. And I believe that was her friend and everything.
correct,
Um,
that's
and
correct.
obviously because of it, that gets whole crazy. Then all of a sudden, Penguin shows up. You find out he's kind of running operations here, and then Batman kind of gets shot down a bit. But then he's coming over. And it's getting an intense moment where Penguin's walking up. He's like, "Okay, is he gonna get to where Catwoman's at?" But Catwoman ends up getting away, well, doesn't end up getting away. You just hear something in the back because they're like, "Wait, where'd he go?" Because they saw him get shot
Right.
down. And you get this crazy scene where he's revving up the Batmobile, and the Penguin looks at him. He's like, "Mother," and mind you, this is probably this was great acting by Colin Farrell, and this is
Yeah.
probably my favorite part of the film because he sees this and he's like, "I gotta get out of here." And he
Mhm.
gets in his car and he starts booking it. And Batman's following right behind him and everything. And it's a crazy chase scene because this man, the Penguin, trying to get away from Batman. He's like, "Get
Mhm.
away!" He deters him for a bit, and he's like, "Ha, I got you now." But then Batman comes back into the picture. He's like, "Oh, come on!" And then you get this chase scene when they get on the freeway, and you just have it to where I'm like, my goodness. Honestly, I was intrigued at this part of the movie. I was like, "This is insane." And you just have it where he's on the traffic going the opposite way way. Batman's falling right behind him, and he's doing all he can to get away from Batman. Dude is pushing these freaking semi trucks out of the way, just to get away from Batman, because he sees him through his rearview mirror. It's like, he's coming. I got to do something. He's like even gridlocked between like 4 different trucks. He's like, screw it. He bumps into the first car in front of him, takes out the freaking semi truck. He's thinking he got him. And I was honestly dying out laughing in the theater when he's like, "I got you," and everything. Oh, he got away. And then all of a sudden, I know you see this in the trailer, but it's still funny. And you just
that was a cool scene.
You have the Batmobile just freaking go through the fire, and he's like, "Are you serious?" He takes out his car and everything, and he's walking up. The Batman theme as he's walking up is playing that the theme. And I'm like, oh my goodness. See, if I ever go see the movie again, then that's the reason why I'm gonna see that movie. That chase scene was great again. Colin Farrell's acting.
You don't have to really wait. It's gonna be on HBO Max.
Oh yeah. Colin Farrell's acting was just
Colin Farrell did a fan. I mean, again, there's not one actor I can honestly say that I was just like,
Yeah. And I think I've heard he might be getting his own spinoff show.
Yeah, he's getting his own spinoff show, and Jeffrey Wright with Gordon is getting his own spinoff show. For whatever reason, Batman has never been that character that people have actually portrayed well on television for TV shows. So not necessarily sure if, but then again, I'm not necessarily sure if the actors actually really want to do a TV show that have played Batman. I don't know. I think Pattinson might be one of those as well too. But they need to do 2 more movies with this group. They really do. Just start the production right now, because and do it while the fires are hot. And I gotta admit, this one was absolutely fantastic.
So after that whole Penguin situation, him and Jordan interrogate him, saying like, okay, where's the Riddler? Because you're working with him, and he's like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Eventually they find out another card and everything. Or I think I don't remember if it was a card or through another phone call, but we later find out that essentially now the Riddler's turned his attention to targeting Bruce Wayne. And you get this is another great scene where obviously Bruce picks us up. He's headed back because he knows Alfred's in danger, and you get this scene. He's trying to call Alfred, and you see Alfred, at his desk. He's like looking at the mail and everything. He's like, oh, for Bruce? Interesting. You have the phone calling in the background. You hear the phone just ringing, and you're just watching as a viewer, like, why is Alfred not going to the phone? Why is he not going to the phone? And then obviously the trap is sprung and everything. Alfred sees a bomb. He throws it away as fast as he can, but he still gets hit by it. And then finally it's picked up. The phone's picked up, and it's one of Bruce's maids saying, I'm sorry, Bruce, that you're too late. Alfred, he's been taken to the hospital. I was like, don't tell me they're killing Alfred off this early
already.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. But that was a great scene. That just raised
that was a great scene.
That raised the tension. You're just wondering as a viewer, it's like, why is he not picking up the phone? Pick up the phone, man. But the whole
and then on top of it goes back into the whole, well, you know what, hey, Alfred is really the only one that knows you're Batman. You can't even get in contact with him. It's something wrong. It's something wrong with this picture. So I'm just like, okay, well, hey, it's just another thing that they gotta tweak on this journey he's been on for 2 years, But Alfred gets into the hospital, and Bruce eventually does go see him with, he has some questions about, his parents, and he feels Alfred is the only one that can answer them. So, Alfred still is pretty generic in his descriptions. He wasn't really detailed. But he did go and just simply say, hey, dog, I'm with you on this journey you about to take, man. Just, what you're asking is pretty deep. So, so let's just stay the course. and all of this stuff will come to you in due time. So I did like that scene, the hospital scene with Alfred and Bruce. Again, it was really difficult looking at Edward from Twilight every time he does Bruce Wayne. So,
yeah.
you know,
And that's kind of leading into the parents thing. Bruce ends up meeting
right,
Falcone to discuss about his dad and everything.
right, yeah.
And essentially the whole I forgot how to explain it. If you can explain it, you can go ahead.
Um, well, just to generalize, Falcone was basically telling Bruce, well, you know, Thomas was running for mayor, and he um, he needed some problems solved, so to speak. And Falcone offered to help him. Well, Falcone wound up solving the problems, but he wound up, you know, um, doing away with the Waynes anyway.
Yeah.
Now they did have a part in which they where Martha was institutionalized.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a nice little twist. Instead of just, you know, them being two loving parents and, you know, pillars of the community, the movie basically showed that the Waynes wasn't really pillars of the community. They really had a lot of skeletons in their closet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Falcone took advantage of those skeletons, and just to, you know, further his criminal empire.
Yeah.
So, and I think on the way to all of that, that's where Paul Dano comes in which, you know, he damaged him too. And at one point, I was actually thinking that he was going to say that Bruce, the Riddler, is, you know, Bruce Wayne's brother or something like that. I thought they were going to go that route. You know, I'm glad they didn't, but I thought they were going to eventually go that route. So then the main villain in the movie becomes clear, and it's Falcone. Yeah. It's like the Riddler is after him. Batman now realizes that, you know, Falcone's the bad guy. Even the Penguin was just like, damn, dude, you something else, you know. So yeah, so now it's clear throughout the movie that the main villain in the whole thing is Falcone.
Yeah, and we also later find out too, because the bat signal goes up and Gordon and Batman are like, wait, did you do that? And we're like, no. We find out it's Catwoman with the evidence. We find out that Falcone actually killed her friend by strangling her essentially to death, which makes Catwoman like go on a tale of vengeance, where we know Catwoman to be the whole thing. That she's kind of the character that is like on the, I guess you can say the string of good and bad. Unless it benefits her, she'll do things for good things. But until it's like, okay, I need to take this into my own hands. That's when she ends
typical Catwoman, though. It was typical Catwoman, though.
Yeah, it's like Black Cat from Spider-Man.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, it was typical Catwoman. I mean, she pretty much does what's best for her. Until in this particular time, you know, she wanted to get the Falcone, you know, but we were under, you know, it was more than just her wanting to get the Falcone to avenge her friend. She wanted to get the Falcone to avenge her friend, avenge her mother, found out that, you know, he's the father of Falcone. And it looks like Falcone actually knew it too.
Yeah.
You know, so now there's so many reasons why, you know, Selena wants to kill Falcone. I mean, she's got a slew of them. Mama, my friend, me, you know, I just need to exorcise this demon, because I can't live right unless this demon is gone. So I thought that was a nice little twist to the Batman Catwoman friendship. That, well, I shouldn't say friendship. I'll say more likely relationship, I should say.
And then also too, we find out that also Falcone also had dealings within the police force, because he corrupted the police chief and on most of the Gotham PD and everything. So you get the scene where Catwoman's going after him. Batman's obviously falling behind. Again, you get this great scene where it's the elevator scene where, it looks like Catwoman's gonna get him and everything, but Batman's like right there. It's pitch black, and obviously the Falcone's men are like, what the heck? Why is this elevator door opening and stuff like that? You get the scene in the dark where Batman's just taking these guys out, and it's just, you see the gunshots going off, just showing like, oh, this guy's mopping the floor with these dudes. Again, also, too, another thing that was crazy was, and it goes on to the final scene of the final battle of the film, that his suit can take dang near bullets, but he sees that he knows he can't take a lot of them, because the moment he sees those guns, he goes right after those guys first. And everything. But that scene, again, visually shot really good with you just see the and you just see him taking him down all the.
Well, those he was taking, but he took a close. He took a it was a shotgun blast he took that put him out, that put him down. So it was just like, yeah, he can probably take maybe those smaller rounds. But when it came to that shotgun that he took close quarters, yeah, that put him down pretty good. But at the same time, he was still able to awake by giving him a nice little shot of adrenaline or whatever he took that he gave himself. And yeah, he got back in action and started kicking some tail.
Yeah. So he ends up getting in there. He prevents Selena from killing Falcone. Stops her. Falcone, he knocks Falcone out. They're arresting him, and it's going on. They get the scene and everything, and Falcone's talking to Gordon's like, please, I got your entire police force. None of them is gonna freaking listen to you, and they're gonna get me out of here easy because they're all corrupt and everything, which has always been a storyline that's always been brought up in Batman things about Gotham City Police Department always being corrupt and everything and stuff. That's like correct. That. And all of a sudden, things are getting hectic. Penguin comes out, he's like, what the so, and then all of a sudden this leads into the scene where it looks like Penguin actually shot Falcone, because Falcone was kind of crap talking him. But no, he gets actually shot from the Riddler's house area, and Batman remembers the whole thing of like, oh, look into the light and look up from it. And he sees Riddler's in his apartment. He goes after him and everything. But Riddler escapes, of course, and you see everything that's going on and everything in his place of all the traps he set up and everything, and then it leads to a scene in the diner where they get a call like, yeah, this guy is here talking, he wants Batman and stuff like that. And it's the Riddler. He out of his clothes and everything, and he just willingly turns himself in and everything. Which was a crazy scene, because the dude, he looks at Batman, he starts like starts laughing and everything. So it's like, okay, things done, interesting way to end a potential film. But no, there's like an extra 30-40 minutes left of the film still going on, and everything. You have the interrogation scene, because Batman's looking for some clues, but he can't find anything. He goes there. You have, again, I don't know if I haven't seen this thing. I wouldn't say it rivals the interrogation scene with Batman and the Joker from The Dark Knight, but it was definitely up there for
it was definitely intense. I can tell you it was. I like the Dark Knight interrogation better because Batman was right there physically in front of him, as opposed to Pattinson Batman. It has to do his talking through the glass. Now Pattinson, it was much more realistic, but yeah, it was still nonetheless very intense. So
yeah, and that whole scene leading up, the way you have the Riddler talking. I don't think they even call him Edward Nigma in this. He's Edward something else.
They did. It was they found two pieces of identification on it. It was Edward. It was the last name being an N. It wasn't Nigma. It was an N, but both first names. Both first names were Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's talking. He's like, oh, and he's talking about the Waynes and everything. You're like, wait. Does this guy know he's Bruce Wayne? And you see it on his look. He's closing it. He's like, crap. And I'm watching the movie. I'm like, bruh, you might actually have to mark this guy. You have to kill this guy.
Yeah.
This guy can't know.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
he
he got to go
knows.
around.
He knows. And then on top of it, to find out that I like this other dichotomy with the Waynes and the Arkhams being the, basically the first families of Gotham.
Yep.
That part I thought was really cool. Now I have a series of books, and yeah, they're back there, by it's called the Court of Owls. And it actually goes back into when the Waynes were one of the, being one of the first families of Gotham, and the Arkhams was there as well too. And this movie actually talked about that a bit as well. So I did like that, and all the dirt that the Waynes and the Arkhams have done over the years. Arkham's, getting, the asylum together and things of that nature for Gotham's criminal element. Man, it was just
insanity. And then
Martha Wayne being, popped into the same institution as well. So it was something else.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. And then you have the release scene where Riddler's like, he reveals the fact that he doesn't know who Batman truly is. It's obviously get that stress relief, but he's like, but you fell for my trap because you fell for it. All of a sudden you see like part of, I guess, the Gotham Harbor, the side of the Gotham Bay, essentially just explosions happening and everything.
Yep.
And the final part of the film cuts over to this one stadium in Gotham City that's for the mayoral election. The one girl, she ended up winning because, well, the dude died.
The guy died. And funny, it was like the stadium was called in Gotham Square Garden, like Madison Square Garden, realistically in New York, and the Riddler, I'm assuming he got himself arrested so that, it was easier to put all of his Riddler-mites, arm his Riddler-mites looking the way he did with the mask and the glasses, and just basically just creating total anarchy with their weapons down on the citizens of Gotham. Yeah. So Batman and Catwoman, for the most part, go up there to handle it. And that's when all these other that's when the best fight scenes occur, while they're up on those scaffolds, and he's battling guys with a gun.
Okay, I'm back. We're back. This leads into the scene. The one thing I found so funny, but at the same time so stupid, by this one girl. She's going out, and Gordon's like, "You can't go out there." She's like, "I gotta calm the people down." I'm like, "Don't go out there. You're gonna get shot."
Oh, you're talking about the Mayor Real or Mayor Real. I'm like, oh.
I saw that, and of course, predictably, she doesn't end up dying. She gets shot in the shoulder. But I'm like, see, your dumb self had to calm people down, and you got yourself shot.
But she lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lived. Okay, there was one character that I didn't like, and it was that one right there.
I totally forgot what her campaign was about anyways, but
real change.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what it was. Her last name is Real or Real, but it's spelled R-E-A-L, and that was her slogan, real change.
Oh. Hold on a quick second, guys.
All right.
Okay, back again from the interruption. But yeah, you get, anyways, the ending scene when he's taking out all the freaking Riddler clones and stuff like that. That was a great scene. Just great stuff right there. Like we said earlier, he ends up taking a shotgun. He is actually down for the count.
He took it close quarters too.
Yeah, so it goes to show you, like he can only take so many shots on his bat suit. And then also too, because of the explosions happening in like the Gotham Bay and Harbor, I don't know which one of the two, it's probably the same thing. It's creating like massive flooding in the city. Like the floods go into the freaking stadium and everything. And I'm like, what the heck? This guy going crazy and everything. But obviously, Batman injects himself with an adrenaline boost type of thing or something else. I've seen people say, what if it was like the Venom the Venom serum?
You know what? That's a good analogy, because the little disc that was on his arm, it was green.
Mm-hmm.
So it was. So who knows? It could have been Venom. It could have been. I mean, but I thought that after you mentioned it,
it would make sense, especially the way he attacked the dude brutally like that.
Correct.
But he ends up saving the day. That he ends up going down. I thought he was gonna because he sees the electrical box, and obviously, if the electricity touches the water, people in the water are gonna get shocked to death.
That's correct.
He cuts it. I'm thinking wait, did he just shock himself? But no, he gets back up. You get the one scene where he takes the flare out. He's starting to help people, but people are hesitant, we don't want to touch your hand. But the one person who was willing to grab out and take his hand was that same little boy we've seen earlier in the film, which only leads to the other people willing to take his hand. And you get that great shot overhead where he's leading the people out of the building and everything. Obviously, you get the over narration by Robert Pattinson, talking about now the people kind of see him as the beacon of hope and everything that he can provide.
Of them, so to speak. One of them, an actual Gothamite. Yeah.
You have that nice scene where the one person's getting airlifted and just holding Batman's hand and everything. That's was a nice scene. That obviously that's where things happen. The mayor's like, we're gonna rebuild Gotham to be better and stuff like that and everything. I'm like, yeah, right. And which because Catwoman brings it up later on at the end of the standpoint, she's like, just come with me to Bloodhaven, because if you stay here, you're just gonna find yourself going insane. Nothing's gonna change here in Gotham.
But at the same time, though, I think Matt Reeves's plan is, Mayor Real or Mayor Real or whatever her name is, because keep in mind earlier in the movie, she was trying to get Bruce Wayne to do more for the community.
Yeah.
So that could be his plan for, haunting Batman's alter ego Bruce Wayne, is by getting Bruce Wayne to do what Mayor Real was wanting to do, build the community up and get it together and put money and resources into the city and things of that nature. A lot of the stuff that Bruce really, for all intents and purposes, was not doing, in this movie. He was just basically, hey, I'm gonna be Batman, that's all I'm gonna do. But now that he sees that the people that he's protecting are actually, living, breathing humans, and I think you probably will see that little bit of that change. And I don't think Bruce was worried about it when he was talking to Selina inside at that cemetery at that moment. I think he knew exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah. So he's gonna stay. They go their own separate ways. She goes off to Bloodhaven. I'm guessing unless the HBO Max wants to do a series on her, probably they might. Don't know. We'll see. Batman goes on his own ways in Gotham.
But I like how that movie it ended. It ended with him on his motorcycle, close up, looking straight ahead to the road that he's paving. I really love that, how they did all of that. They focused that entire movie on Batman.
Yeah.
And as a Batman fanatic, and I'm a Batman fanatic, if you hadn't really noticed it, I am. It's just, that's exactly what we like to see.
Yeah. But that's it, the movie. We do cut over to Riddler, actually, even before all this, just chilling in his scene. And from what I've heard, it's an interpretation where the guy who's also laughing, he's talking to in the cell, that's supposed to be the Joker.
I thought it was Two-Face, because if you look, his face was damaged a little bit on one side, but I do remember another book series. It was called Death of the Family, in which the Joker's face has been disfigured. I can't remember if he cut his own skin off or what have you, but something had happened where the Joker's face was disfigured. And that's what made me think about, this particular Joker, which was played by Barry Keoghan. If any of y'all don't know who Barry Keoghan is, he played Druid in the Eternals. So he did the little itty bitty part that he did have. Man, again, it was just like, oh, this is definitely the Joker, So yeah. Fantastic, man. It was just like, and even Dano then, the Joker gave him a riddle, and the Riddler automatically knew what the answer was, which was a friend. And then they start their maniacal laughter to finish out the movie.
Yeah. Don't know if that means Riddler and Joker are gonna be working together, whether it's the next movie or maybe the big final climax of the film or of the third movie. We'll see. I'm intrigued to see where this is gonna go. I thought this was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Again, like I said, in terms of the other Batman movies where I would rank it, I don't really know yet. I feel like I have to see this movie again before I give my final thoughts on it, my final ranking on it. But it's definitely up there.
We probably need to do a video after we've probably seen, well, definitely the Dark Knight series for sure. See where it falls, because right now the Dark Knight still is rated highest on IMDb's Batman list. I don't think the Batman eclipsed 9.1, which is what the Dark Knight is. But even still, though, this movie is definitely up there. The only thing that's gonna, keep it up there is how Matt Reeves decides to do the next couple of movies. The end credit scene, although you had to go through ratalada.com and answer some questions to get to the end credit scene, which was another video of Thomas Wayne's campaign speech. And at the end of said campaign speech, it has hush. So I'm thinking that you're probably right, that Riddler, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, and Tommy Elliott, who's known as Hush, is going to have a drastic effect on the next two movies. So, and Hush was a really good book as well. Man, that was a great book.
I only know much about Hush just from playing the Arkham games, especially Arkham Knight and a little bit of Arkham City. And then Hush,
Bruce. Tommy Elliott was.
I know all that. And then Hush was brought a little bit in Batwoman, trying to pretend to be Bruce Wayne in that show, as well.
Well, you're the Batwoman person. I stopped watching.
I thought it was good. I thought season 3 was good.
I stopped watching after Ruby Rose left. I mean, so after she left, that was it for me.
Oh, you definitely should give it a shot. I do like.
Well, you keep telling me that. Now, maybe I will.
You have to get a shot. You'll like Javivica Leslie as Batwoman as the new one.
Okay, I mean, I like Javivica Leslie as an actress. So yeah, you're probably right. I probably should just go ahead and take a look at it. Yeah, I got sick of the Flash. I really didn't care for the Legends of Tomorrow, but so I can give Batwoman a shot. I do like Supergirl, but
that's done now.
It's done now. So as a matter of fact, I don't even think it's on Netflix anymore.
I think they moved all those shows to HBO Max.
HBO Max, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and give Batwoman a shot. But
yeah. Yeah. Might as well. Season 3 ended not a few days ago, so
okay.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on the Batman. If you enjoyed it, maybe you didn't like it, and stuff like that, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more movie reviews going forward. Like I said, not today, because I actually have uploaded a lot of things. I already uploaded something regarding to anime, then I gotta upload this, then One Piece later on tonight.
Gotcha.
And then I'm maybe tomorrow, like I said earlier, I'm going to be uploading my full thoughts on Batwoman season 3, which I thought was the best season of Batwoman.
Okay, all right. Golly gee, man.
I won't spoil anything, but
I'll just go ahead and start watching it.
I enjoyed the 3rd season of Batwoman.
Okay.
God.
All right.
I'll say this. Batwoman season 3 is a lot brutal. It's a lot brutal than most of the other
Okay.
CW shows.
I think I saw season one. I just didn't see. I guess,
Yeah.
and season no, actually, didn't season two have some of Ruby Rose in it as well? The first,
Uh,
or they ended season one with Ruby Rose, and that was it.
Ruby Rose wasn't seen, and the character of Kate is still in season 2.
Okay.
I won't go into details or spoilers about that if you haven't seen it, but Ruby
No.
Rose gone.
Yeah, I like Ruby Rose.
But yeah, look forward to that. Definitely look forward to that. I'm also I got to find time in my schedule to also upload other things. I did have a pre-recorded video on the newest Pokemon Gen 9 reveal trailer and stuff like that, since I like Pokemon a lot and I enjoyed it, and I'm shocked
Okay.
Gen 9 came out.
Okay.
But other than that, in terms of movie reviews, the next movie I'm going to review, other than the ongoing series, I got to catch up reviewing Peacemaker. I'm definitely going to do Peacemaker reviews, continuing that. I know that's already ended. Moon Knight will be coming up, so I'll do weekly episode reviews for Moon Knight. But
keep me in the loop on that one.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to Moon Knight.
Okay, we can definitely see if we can schedule.
The one thing, and I know I don't want to get off track here. The one thing that I'm really curious about, Moon Knight, Disney Plus. I want to see if they're going to keep him a dark, twisted character. I want to see if they're going to do that. I mean, Disney really, that concerns me with Moon Knight. It concerns me with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. I'm concerned that they're going to. I know they have that star function, whereas you can watch, adult type content. I shouldn't say. Maybe an older type content, so that your younger viewers don't get to watch it or whatever. I don't know. You pay extra money to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's my concern with Moon Knight. Are they going to make it the dark, twisted character we know Moon Knight to be, or are they going to, sugarcoat it for those younger viewers?
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, I'll stay in touch if you want to do episode reviews for that.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the next movie review you'll probably see on the channel is going to probably be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I'm definitely looking forward to in April. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, you make sure you do, because your cousin Diamond, she is a Sonic nut. She actually jumped on me in the theater while we were waiting to see the Batman. She was like, "Dad, are you interested in seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 2?" And I went, "Sonic the Hedgehog got a movie?"
Yep.
And she looked at me like I was straight evil. So what I did was, right there in the movie theater, I watched the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I gotta admit, I was like,
yeah,
okay, all right. I said, yeah, we can do Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, you definitely got to see that first movie. The first movie was really surprisingly good.
Okay, yeah. And see, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's what she said. Don't watch 2 until you see 1. So I'm like, okay, so now I gotta find. I think I got Sonic the Hedgehog around here somewhere. Because she's always telling me what movies to go grab, and I go grab them. But sometimes I don't look at them. But I think I got it.
So, in terms of this year, it's gonna be a lot of movies. In terms of the next superhero film, I believe is gonna be Doctor Strange. Definitely gonna review that.
Yeah.
But I'm also definitely looking to the other DC movies, Aquaman, The Flash, and even Black Adam. But yeah, that's all what's going to be going on. But other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully, the guys are staying safe out there. Until then, guys, we'll see.
Keep in mind though that this movie, The Batman, it should be on HBO Max sometime before the 19th, I believe, or sometime on or around the 19th of April.
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Yeah. Also to quick mention, this Batman is not connected to the DCEU. It's not the Batman connected to the DCEU.
I wish they would try, though. I wish they would try.
He's in his own universe, so I guess if they ever decide to do maybe a Crisis on Infinite Earth movie, well, that's the only way he can come in.
Yeah. So they need to try, because Pattinson is awesome.
Yeah.
But then again, now that I think about it, I don't even think that I want them to. Now that I think about it.
Well, we'll see. Well,
yeah,
we'll see. I definitely do think, before the main Justice League members' time's up, we're gonna get a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, we're gonna get over, guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the rest of your day or night. We're this video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. See you guys later. Peace.
Peace.